really appreciate, like I said, we appreciate everything that you do, that you're going to do for us. All right. The lamp well lit reveals the ability to sacrifice, to use one's mind, power to its fullest extent, and reasoning, and to establish priorities. Omega men can and must be the model fraternity of this nation. It means our continued support for our elected leaders and their selected programs that express our four cardinal principles. I, say your name,
Joseph Rice,
do solemnly swear that I shall uphold, defend, and protect the Constitution, bylaws, rules, and regulations of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. That to the utmost of my ability, I shall perform the duties of the office to which I have been elected with honesty, diligence, dedication, and dignity. And I do further solemnly swear that in pursuit of my duties, no appearance of personal gain or other, don't know this word, something shall bismarck the commitment of giving my very best to maintain the sterling reputation of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And now by the power vested in me, well, no, that's my part. That you are officially and duly installed in the office of which you have been elected. Thank you.
Let's give God a hand clap of praise if you love the Lord. To all the brothers that are here, I do want to say happy Founders Day to you all today. Amen. Amen. We thank God. Amen. Amen. Look, give me 8 minutes and I'm done.
All right.
You understand, I'm done. My armor bearer, one of them came and told me I'm supposed to be at New Canaan. Schedule ain't looking good today. Matthew chapter 19, come on. Matthew chapter 19, verse 27.
Amen.
When you have it, say amen. Amen. Matthew chapter 19, verse 27. Says these words, then Peter said to him, we're giving up everything to follow you. Then he says, what will we get? Then Peter said to him, we're giving up everything to follow you. What will we get? Y'all can sit down just for a moment. I want to talk from the message entitled, I thought we was better than this. I thought we were better than this. My brothers and sisters, those of you that know, I love Andy Griffith. That's my show. There was one episode of Andy Griffith where Andy had went and arrested a businessman because the businessman had failed to come back and pay his speeding ticket. And so Andy goes and arrests him and brings him to Mayberry. And the businessman is upset, of course, because he feels like that Mayberry is such a small town. He's wasting his time bringing him back to Mayberry. And Andy goes by the rules and goes by the law, and so he brings him back, and the businessman is fined a total of $15. So the businessman is highly upset, and he looks at Andy and he tells Andy, he says, I'm gonna get you back. He said, I'm gonna bring you down. I'm gonna get you back. So the businessman in return goes and finds a reporter that says she's a college student. And she comes to Mayberry and she talks to the one and only Barney Five.
All right.
She has a conversation with Barney there in the diner. They're talking, and Barney says some things. And to make a long story short, Andy and Barney and Opie was in his office, and a man came. And he brought in a piece of paper. And Andy said, how can I help you? And he said, you can help me by answering these charges that have been brought up against you. And Andy said, charges? He said, yeah, charges of malfeasance and stuff like that, using the patrol car and not being a emergency situation. All of these charges he had brought up on Andy, and Barney looked at him and said, well, who you got that's going to testify against Andy? Amen. And he says, we got an eyewitness that can testify. So the day of the court hearing, they were sitting there, Andy and Barney, sitting next to each other. And the judge started the session and asked him, do you have somebody that you want to call as a witness to the neglect that Sheriff Taylor done? And the attorney looked and said, yes, there's a man, Deputy Barney Five.
All right.
Now, I said all this to say that I know a lot of times the people was laughing on the television. A lot of you may have seen it, laughed in your homes, but the Spirit allowed me to see Andy's reaction.
All right. Come on now.
And when he said, Barney Five, Andy gave Barney the weirdest look.
Amen.
A look that said, I thought that we
All right now. All right.
were better than this.
Come on.
All right.
I figured that we was closer
Yes.
than this. And I got to ask you something today, and I got about 5 more minutes and I'm done. I got to ask you a question today. How many of you have had some folk in your life that you thought was better than this? Let's just talk real for a moment. Can I get some real folk in here? How many of you have had some situations and some things that arise in your life and you didn't know where the answers to what was going on was coming from and all the details, but when you found out it wasn't your enemy, it was those that were sitting around at your table. Is it anybody in here that can just witness with me that you thought sometime that some of the folk that you hang around, that you be around, how many of y'all have said, I thought we was better than this? Look, check this out. I want y'all to get this because, let me get it run down. In the book of Matthew chapter 19, Jesus just talks to a rich ruler. He talks to a rich ruler and deals with the rich ruler, and the rich ruler says to him, Lord, what I got to do to make it in? Right. Jesus tells him all of the things that he got to do, keep the commandments and all of that. And the rich ruler said, I done all that, Lord. He said, then Jesus said, but if you want to be perfect, he said, I'll tell you what I want you to do, because he was a man of great possessions. He said, I'll tell you what I want you to do. I want you to go and sell everything you got. Right. And then give the money to the poor.
Right. Say that.
And he went away sad. He went away confused, discombobulated. He walked away, and in the midst of Jesus talking to the rich man, Jesus tells the disciples, he says, listen, y'all, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. He was talking to his disciples, and somehow or another, Peter gets...
All right.
We're talking about Peter, y'all.
Come on, Pastor.
We're talking about Peter. Peter was one of the followers of John the Baptist, that Peter. Yeah. We're talking about Peter. He was the first disciple that Jesus called. We're talking about that Peter. Peter was the first one that called Jesus the Son of the living God. We're talking about that Peter, the Peter that was a spokesman for the disciples, the Peter that witnessed the transfiguration upon the mountain, the Peter that seen Lazarus called from the grave, the Peter that seen Jairus' daughter raised from the dead, the Peter that seen the multitude get fed, the Peter that went down y'all ain't talking to me. I know the same Peter that went back to John and said that the lame is walking, their eyes are being opened, their ears are being opened. That Peter that knew Jesus, this is what he said. He has the audacity and the nerve to say, Jesus, we done gave up everything.
All right, everything. Come on, Pastor.
Yeah.
Come on, Doc. Great.
Then he looks at him and said, well, what we gonna get?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, it ain't in the script, but Jesus was fully human
All right.
and fully man.
Man.
He was fully man and fully God. He was dipso spirit in the Greek. Jesus was that. And I could just imagine, if I could, I text Jesus, but I text him and I talked to him, and Jesus said, I ain't got time to text you back, but just think to yourself. He replied and said, listen, in so many words, he said, man, Peter, as much as you done seen,
All right.
as much as you done heard,
All right.
as much as you done witnessed to, I thought we was better than that.
Come on now. Yeah. Come on now.
I thought, Peter, if anybody would have my back, I knew that it would be you.
Yeah.
Because you were the first one I chose.
All right.
He said, Peter, I thought we were better than this. My brothers and sisters, I'm getting ready to make my descent now, but I got to ask you a question. Have any of you ever been hurt by some folk? Come on, talk to me. Be real with me. I got to get ready for 11 o'clock. Has any of you ever been hurt by some people? Maybe on this side, since everybody quiet on that side. Have any of you ever been hurt by some people? Some of the same folk you fed, some of the same folk you helped when they were down, some of the same folk you visit when they were sick. How many of you have had them same people talk about you, lie on you, scandalize your name, misuse you, and have the audacity to say that you are no good? Is it anybody here? I don't know why y'all trying to be all cute and dignified up in here, but is it anybody here that has been hurt by some folk? I thought we were better than this.
Yeah.
Jesus tells Peter, I ain't got but one point and I'm gone.
All right.
Come on, Pastor.
He says this to Peter. Peter, I thought we were better than this.
Yes.
Peter says, what you mean? We better than this.
All right.
Jesus said, Peter, if nothing else, I want you to remember what I've already done.
Yeah.
Hey.
I don't see, Peter, how you can ask me a question like this.
Yeah.
When Peter, I done already done enough stuff for you.
Yeah.
Peter, Jesus said, I'm not one that like to call up the history. But Jesus says, I feel like that is necessary now.
All right.
All right now.
Jesus said, Peter, do you understand the things that I've already done?
Yeah. All right. Come on now.
Peter said, what did you already do, Lord? Jesus said, Peter, I allowed you to walk on water. Ain't too many people done walked on water. He said, not only did I allow you to walk on water, he said, I stopped you from drowning when you fell down in the water. So Jesus says, I was there to pick you up. Not only did I stop you from drowning, Peter, he said, but on my way through Bethsaida, your mama had a fever. And he said, I was kind enough to lay hands on your mother's fever. And her fever went away. He said, not only that, he said, but Peter, when your business wasn't doing good one night, he said, I told you to drop your net. And I filled your net with a bunch of fishes all at one time. He said, you was able to say, my cup runneth over. He said, not only that, he said, but I built the church upon your name. He said, because I said, on this rock, I build my church. And Jesus looks at Peter and says to Peter, I thought we was better than that. But Peter, if I don't do another thing, I've already done enough. Have I got anybody in here that has had a Peter's moment to where you feel like God owes you something, that you feel like God is not answering your prayers, that you feel like God don't care about you? Let me run down the road and let me tell you, how did you forget that bright early this morning, while some are still sleeping, God woke you up and started you on your way? Can I get a witness for that in here? If that ain't enough for you, do you remember when you was in the hospital bed and the doctors gave up on you? Won't God, was he not a doctor for you? Anybody here that's been like me, been in trouble and couldn't afford a lawyer, but lawyer Jesus showed up, and when he showed up, he showed out that the judge said no charge. Have I got a witness in here? Is there anybody? I wish I had some help. Is there anybody can think about when you didn't have a job, didn't know what you were going to do? God gave you a job. Is there anybody here? Your bank account been empty and you didn't know how you were going to pay your bills. But won't God stretch out what you got and make a way for you? Won't God do it? Anybody say he will do it? And anybody know he will? Tell somebody, shake your neighbor's hand. Shake your neighbor's hand. Shake them and rock them. Rock them and shake them. Come on, shake them and rock them. Rock them and shake them. And tell your neighbor, say, neighbor, if God don't do another thing, say it to him like you mean it. Say, if God don't do another thing, he's already. Has he done enough for you? Have you done enough for you? Anybody here? Where my dogs at? Is there anybody here on this side of the building can say, God, God, oh God, what you have? Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Crank the car, I gotta get out of here, but won't he do it? Won't he make a way for you? I got anybody, I feel old school, I got anybody that know him as a way maker? You wanna ride up and say, I know him. Anybody know him as a way maker? Let me see you stand up and say, I know him. Don't be afraid. Is anybody know him for your money in your pocket? Say, I know him. His money. I know him. I've been lonely. He's been a friend. I've been motherless. He's been a mother. I've been fatherless. He's been a father. I've been sisterless. He's been a sister. I've been brotherless. He's been a brother. Is there anybody else? I'll sit down. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. But I thought we were better than this. Jesus looking at some of us and saying, I thought that you knew that nobody else had your back. I got your back. Jesus said, I thought you knew that we were better than this. But Jesus goes on in the text and he closes the text out and tell them that, listen, if you give it all up for me, that you got eternal life. See, Peter was talking about the present, but God always deals with the future. Sometimes we miss the future by what we do in the present. But thank God we got a God that cares about where you're going to end up. instead of where you are right now. Because in that same chapter, he said that the first shall be last, and that the last shall be first. Y'all ain't following what I'm saying. V, stand right here. Stand right there facing Mama Hub. Mom, stand behind her. Yeah, y'all don't hear me. He's saying that if you give up everything, see, V, down here on earth, it looks like you winning. But he's really talking about Martha, that he's saying in the spiritual realm. One day, he said, when I take my throne, everybody that like you, God said he's going to turn it around. And V, what I want y'all to do, instead of looking that way, I want y'all to turn this way. He said, because now you that was first is going to be last. Is it anybody here know God will turn some stuff around? Is it anybody here that know God will turn something around? Has he turned anything around for you? Has he made a way? I wish I had some folk in here. Y'all trying to be cute. I wish I had some folk in here that know God that turn some stuff around in your life. Is it any? Y'all still trying to be cute. Is it anybody that know God that turn some stuff around in yeah, if you know he will, why don't you just walk and tell him thank you? Anybody know he will? Just walk and tell him thank you. If he's already done it, I gotta get ready for 11 o'clock. Walk and tell him thank you. Tell him thank you. If he's done it for you, tell him thank you. Pam, won't he do it? Pam, won't he do it? Won't he do it, Pam? Will he not heal your body? Mark, won't he do it? Will he not heal your body? You ought to just walk around and tell him. Thank you. Thank you. Tell God thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I fell in love with Jesus. I fell in love with him.
Yes, Lord.
I gotta go, but I fell in love with him.
Yeah.
Anybody else fell in love?
Yes. Lord.
Yeah.
Lord.
They always say, I hear people say all the time, man, you ain't got to act like that in church. And I used to think that way, but then God showed me something.
Come on, Pastor.
See, when you ain't been through what others been through, then you can't say how you act if God brings you out. See, some of y'all ain't gonna witness if I say if you've been sick in the building, because you ain't been sick. But those that have really been sick at your point of death, and God heals your body overnight. Oh, when you hear the name Jesus, you don't care who's sitting next to you. That's why you gotta be careful who you sit on your road with. And you tell them, if you ain't a praiser, if you ain't a praiser, if you ain't a worshiper, y'all ain't hearing what I'm saying. That's why I get excited. Because when I was homeless, that's why I don't care what none of y'all said. Because when I was homeless, none of y'all gave me nowhere to live. But God said, I'm going to take care of you.
That's all right.
That's why I don't try to put on no front for nobody. Because I know a God that will supply. He'll take you from riding the bus to having 4 or 5 cars. He'll take you from living outside to living in your own mansion. Y'all ain't talking to me. Anybody know he'll change it up for you? Falling in love with Jesus, falling in love with Jesus. church is over. Falling in love with Jesus was the best thing I ever done. Y'all help me say, fall in love. Sing it like you mean it. Sing it like you mean it. With Jesus. With Jesus, it was the best thing I ever done. Let me tell y'all like this, and I'm done. Lord, in His arms, I feel protected. In His arms, I never feel disconnected. In His arms, I feel protected. There is no other place I'd rather be. Everybody lift your voice one time and we're done. Falling in love with you.
May the peace of God bless you and keep you. That is our prayer. Stay strong in the Lord. Don't ever ask God, what will I get? Because God will reply, look at what I've already done. God will take care of His own. He'll take care of His own. He'll make a way out of no way. Thank you, my brothers, for coming today. May God continue to strengthen us and stay strong in Him. God bless you. God keep you. Until next time, tell your neighbor, say neighbor. See you in the same place.